The inaugural journey of the Valkyries. Just over a year ago, on a scorching July morning in Las Vegas, Joe Lacob, the executive chairman of the Warriors, settled in at Jardin, a contemporary American restaurant nestled within the Encore Hotel. His mission? To find the very first head coach for the Golden State Valkyries. For the last 10 years, the lush greenery and elegant marble columns of this restaurant have provided the perfect setting for Lacob's summer discussions with players, staff, and potential hires. On this particular morning, he was particularly excited to meet Natalie Nakase, a respected yet relatively inexperienced assistant coach from the Las Vegas Aces, who came highly recommended by her colleagues. As he ordered his usual breakfast of eggs with cheddar cheese, bacon, and sourdough toast, I have high expectations, and we might as well get that right up front, he stated firmly. You need to win a championship within 5 years. If you can't handle that, Lacob added, then you're probably not the right fit for this role. Lacob had made a similar bold promise regarding the Golden State Warriors during his initial press conference after acquiring the team in 2010. While that statement was spontaneous, he now acknowledges that his 5-year commitment for the Valkyries is more deliberate, albeit equally ambitious. Historically, the last 4 WNBA expansion teams averaged only 6 wins in their debut seasons, and collectively, they secured just 1 championship, the 2004 Seattle Storm, in their 5th year, and 3 finals appearances over their first 5 seasons. Despite his bold declarations, Lacob is realistic about the challenges ahead. The reality is, if you examine the history, it simply doesn't happen, he admits. Nevertheless, Lacob is confident that his financial resources and experience with the Warriors will enable the Valkyries to not only secure multiple championships over the next decade, but also to become one of the most valuable franchises in sports. In Narcos, he has discovered a fellow competitor who shares his drive. I remember slamming the table, she recalls. I said, Joe, I'm ready to sign. As the inaugural season progresses, the WNBA's newest franchise has already achieved remarkable success. General manager Ohema Nyan and her team have assembled an impressive roster of veterans, seasoned players, and international talent. Under Nakase's leadership, the team has already notched 14 victories, defying the historical trends for expansion teams and positioning the Valkyries for a playoff berth. Recently, Sportico valued the Valkyries at an astonishing $500 million, making them the highest-valued organization in women's sports. The Valkyries are not just a product of the league's explosive growth, they are also a driving force behind it. Since 2020, viewership ratings have soared to unprecedented levels, culminating in an 11-year, $2.2 billion television deal signed last year. With established stars like Sabrina Ionescu, Arja Wilson, and Nafisa Collier, alongside rising talents such as Paige Buchers, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese, the WNBA's talent pool has never been deeper or more illustrious. Earlier this summer, the league announced plans for further expansion, aiming to increase the total number of WNBA franchises to 18 by 2030. However, with significant growth comes significant change. In recent seasons, a wave of new ownership groups has entered the league, igniting a competitive arms race that threatens to diminish Lacob's financial advantage. Just last week, a group led by Celtics minority owner Steve Paliuka reportedly secured a record-breaking deal to acquire the Connecticut Sun and relocate them to Boston. Additionally, a widening gap between league revenues and player salaries could potentially lead to the first lockout in WNBA history, complicating Golden State's efforts to enhance their roster during a crucial off-season. While the Valkyries' initial journey has exceeded expectations, many challenges lie ahead in fulfilling Lacob's ambitious vision. To navigate the turbulent waters of expansion, Lacob selected a leader with extensive experience. Nyanin spent the latter part of the 2010s as the assistant director of USA Basketball's women's program, where she was involved in all facets of the developmental system, from logistics to translation at competitions in Spanish-speaking countries. However, by 2019, Nyanin felt it was time for a change, prompting her to embark on a transformative journey around the world, reminiscent of the book Eat, Pray, Love, to discover her next steps. A few months into her sabbatical, Nyanin received a call from Jonathan Kolb, the general manager of the New York Liberty. After years of neglect under Jim Dolan, the Liberty had recently been acquired by Joe Tsai and his wife, Clara Wu, Taiwanese business moguls and owners of the NBA's Brooklyn Nets, who intended to relocate the Liberty to Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and had just appointed Kolb to lead a fresh start for one of the WNBA's original teams. Kolb's call surprised Nyanin. He wanted her to join his staff as an operations manager. Despite her reluctance to move to New York, "I'm a DC girlie," she proudly states, and her uncertainty about returning to basketball. However, Kolb's persistence eventually convinced her to accept a one-year position. By 2022, Nyanin had been promoted to assistant general manager, where she collaborated closely with Kolb on roster construction and salary cap management. Together, they successfully transitioned the Liberty to Brooklyn and laid the groundwork for the team that would clinch the 2024 championship. Throughout this time, rival teams expressed interest in hiring Nyanin away from Brooklyn. However, she had no desire to leave and didn't even have an agent to facilitate a potential move. Then, one afternoon in 2024, Kolb received a call from the Valkyries, seeking permission to interview Nyanin for their vacant general manager position. "I was really excited," Kolb recalls. "I was also sad because I knew she would get the job." Nyanin flew to Silicon Valley to meet with the Valkyries' leadership at Lacob's home. Initially, Lacob had reservations. Nyanin was not a former WNBA player and lacked experience as a lead decision-maker in the league. However, her vision for the role quickly dispelled any doubts. "She knows every single player," Lacob remarked. "She had a clear idea of who she wanted and who she didn't want. In our first meeting, I distinctly remember she already knew the coach she wanted. That coach was Nakase, whom the Valkyries hired 5 months later. I remember slamming the table. I'm like, Joe, I'm ready to sign," Nakase expressed. From that point, Nyanin faced the formidable challenge of assembling an entirely new roster within 7 months. The team reportedly pursued free agents Kelsey Plum, Courtney Vandersloot, and Brianna Jones, but each opted for more established situations. "What we communicated to these athletes was that we wanted as much feedback as possible in our first year," Nyanin explained. "So if you want to embark on this journey with us and be an active participant, this is the place for you. If you're looking for a ready-made, polished team, then this isn't the right fit." We tried to be very transparent about that. With only 156 roster spots available and a growing pool of talent, the WNBA is brimming with untapped potential. Unlike the NBA, which has a developmental league like the G League, many talented young players often find themselves overshadowed by older veterans, with limited opportunities for playing time or growth, whilst missing out on star free agents. Nyanin focused on identifying players who had shown promise on other teams, but had not received enough playing time to fully demonstrate their abilities. During the expansion draft, she selected sharpshooter Kate Martin, who had seen limited action with the Aces but had helped Iowa reach the national championship game twice, and Kayla Thornton, a tenacious defender who had limited opportunities in an offense dominated by the Liberty's big three of Brianna Stewart, Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones. In free agency, Nyanin acquired Veronica Burton, a top 10 pick in 2022 who had struggled to find her place in Dallas and Connecticut. Additionally, she tapped into her international connections to sign Janelle Saliun, an undrafted rookie sharpshooter from France. The roster was rounded out with seasoned players like Tiffany Hayes, a 35-year-old who had previously played under Nakase in Vegas. If Golden State's offseason was focused on uncovering hidden talent, the first season has been about maximizing the potential of a roster that, while deep, lacks star power. The team required a coach capable of making the right rotational decisions and establishing a clear identity. In Nikase, they found that leader. The Valkyries' inaugural home game in May was one of the most thrilling events in the Chase Center's brief history. Lilac shirts emblazoned with the phrase, "First of a Lifetime," adorned each of the arena's 18,064 seats, all filled to capacity. Notable figures from the Bay Area lined the court's edges, including Steve Kerr and E40. While Anna Johnson, an Oakland basketball icon who had played for the region's first professional women's team, the San Francisco Pioneers, drummed the ball holler before tip-off, igniting the crowd's excitement. The budding relationship between the Valkyries and their fans is already remarkable. An impressive 95% of the Valkyries' season ticket holders are new sign-ups, indicating they are not carryovers from the Warriors, and the demographic aligns more closely with the average Bay Area resident than the tech moguls who frequent Warriors games. The Valkyries boast the highest average attendance in the WNBA, and when the team rallies, the crowd's enthusiasm rivals, if not surpasses, that of a Warriors playoff game. At the heart of this success is Nikase. After limited recruitment out of high school, she walked on at UCLA in 1998, where she became the school's all-time leader in steals, assists, and three-pointers made. When the WNBA did not come calling, she played a few years in the National Women's Basketball League, until it folded in 2007, subsequently taking coaching positions around the globe, including in Japan and Germany. In 2014, she embarked on a year-long coaching internship with the LA Clippers, which evolved into a video coordinator role under Doc Rivers, and later an assistant coaching position with the Clippers G League team. After being a finalist for the Phoenix Mercury head coaching job in 2022, she joined the Las Vegas Aces staff under Becky Hammon, where she remained until Lacob recruited her to lead the Valkyries. During her time in Vegas, Nikase earned a reputation for being intensely focused on the game. While Hammon managed the Aces dynasty with a balanced approach, Nikase was known as the team's enforcer, ensuring that the Aces maintained their competitive edge. She was the enforcer, Hayes, who signed a one-year deal with the Valkyries before the season, remarked. While Hammon fostered a light-hearted atmosphere, Nikase was the one who insisted, "Hey, y'all need to get on y'all shit," according to Hayes. Now, Nikase has transitioned from being the enforcer to the CEO of the entire operation. She draws insights from a distinguished group of mentors. From Rivers, she learned how to channel her competitive spirit, while from Hammon, she discovered the importance of balancing that drive with enjoyment to avoid losing the team. She also maintains a close relationship with Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, who advised her to hire individuals who can complement her weaknesses. As she spent more time around the Warriors, Nikase aimed to emulate Kerr's approach to holding star players accountable. If you want to join this journey with us and be an active participant, this is the place for you. If you want a ready-made, put-together team, franchise, whatever, this isn't the place for you, Ninen stated. Nikase's dedication has kept her team grounded through the ups and downs of its inaugural season. A week after their opening night loss, Golden State rebounded against the Sparks, delivering an 82-73 defeat to Los Angeles. On June 25th, at Chase Center, the Valkyries held a narrow 75-74 lead over the Liberty, with 2 minutes remaining, only to see Ionescu, despite battling a severe neck issue, lead the Liberty to an 81-78 victory. The question of who will take the court is a daily puzzle. In Golden State's first 4 games, Nikase utilized 4 different starting lineups. In late July, Thornton, the team's leading scorer, suffered a season-ending knee injury. Nevertheless, players like Salayan, Burton, and Kate Martin have helped keep the team competitive, as the Valkyries vie for the W's final playoff spot. "I reflect a lot," Nikase shared with me in Vegas in mid-July, a day after the team lost in the final moments against Indiana, marking their second consecutive defeat on a 4-game road trip. "I review the film, and I immediately jot down notes on every position, every play call, and every defensive setup. Did I make the right call? Where did I go wrong? I think this is one of the toughest aspects of being in a leadership role, taking significant risks and making crucial decisions, she added. I do question my choices. I do question my decisions. So I have to keep believing in myself, especially after losses. Since about 2 months before the season began, Nakase has been burning the midnight oil, simulating the demands of the upcoming season. I would either analyze the opponent's films or watch NBA games, she explained. I studied their late-game strategies or requested game footage from video personnel, saying, "Hey, can you send me games? I want to see what they're running." Nakase estimates that between film study, travel, and game preparation, she averages about 4 hours of sleep each night. As a 3-game homestand approaches this week, Golden State faces significant challenges. The past month has not been kind to the Valkyries' health. We aimed to establish a culture and be competitive, Lacob reflected. Now, halfway through the season, things are going well, and we're in the playoff mix. We have a shot. When I asked Nakase what her goals were for the remainder of the season, her response was straightforward: to survive. Earlier this summer, Lacob and his wife Nicole were enjoying a boat trip in the Mediterranean, relishing the benefits of their $2.3 billion fortune. It wasn't my boat, he clarified. It belonged to someone else. It was a lovely vacation, except for one issue. He was far from the Valkyries, who were gearing up to host a game at Chase Center. It was 4 a.m, and I got up to watch it. Who does that? Such is the life of a man whose insatiable desire for success knows no bounds. Lacob prefers to be courtside on game nights. I don't want to read about it or hear about it on Twitter, he stated. I want to watch it. I want to see it firsthand. Like with the Warriors, Lacob rarely misses a Valkyries game, with only a few exceptions. July is a tough month, because I need to take some time off. Otherwise, I won't have a marriage. Over his 15 years with the Warriors, Lacob has earned a reputation as an engaged owner. He actively participates in the draft room, providing input on prospects, and is often involved in player pitch meetings during free agency, promoting Golden State's brand. During games, he is known to send rapid-fire texts to General Manager Mike Dunleavy with his thoughts on player and coach performance in real time. I inquired whether he applies a similar approach with the Valkyries. I hear from Ohema. I don't want to say every day, but multiple times a week, he replied. During certain periods, it's more of a daily basis. We text or talk. They're quick chats. She's just checking her thinking, but she's making the decisions and recommendations, and she's doing a fantastic job. So, yes, I'm involved, but I'm not running the show, he continued. I let people do their jobs, just like I let Mike do his. People often think I'm overly involved. There are times I disagree with decisions, and if I feel strongly about it, I might overrule it. But that's happened very rarely, maybe twice in my entire time with the Warriors. Would you care to share those instances? I asked. I'll elaborate on those in some sort of book later, he replied, because I don't think they're suitable for public discussion. There are things that people assume happened a certain way that actually didn't. The Valkyries will require more than Lacob's relentless determination to reach the pinnacle of the WNBA. This season has provided the best branding a new team could hope for, but the next challenge lies in how they will build upon it. In the coming months, nearly 80% of the league will be free agents, and the Valkyries have positioned themselves to attract top-tier talent. We have our internal goals regarding who, what, where, and why. I'm also trying to remain as open as possible to ensure we're not limiting ourselves or being overly prescriptive, Nyanin explained. The Valkyries are on the hunt for stars. Ionescu, a longtime Warriors fan whom Lacob has long sought to bring home, and Wilson, whose aces are competing with the Valkyries for a playoff spot, are both free agents, but it remains uncertain whether they have interest in Golden State. Additionally, the Valkyries' strong start might hinder their chances of acquiring star-level talent by potentially removing them from contention for a top pick in the 2026 draft. However, Nyanin believes that Golden State's unique experience as a recent expansion team could provide an advantage, especially with the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, set to expire after this season. I think our edge lies in the fact that we were the only team that had to navigate the expansion draft process in selecting athletes. We've implemented procedures that have made our decision-making more decisive. The